TOEFL anytime actually because
Hmm.
except for speaking, I have a pretty good idea and I can do all three of the other tasks.
Okay.
Yeah,
So you could take the test somewhere around December.
yeah,
Yeah, it would be good because if you take, like, if there is too much of a gap between the classes and your test, you are out of touch, and then getting back to practice becomes a bit of a problem.
yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So, how is your reading portion? You're confident about it?
Yes, ma'am.
Reading and listening, not a problem. You can get full marks.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, great. So
I'm
speaking,
confident
yeah,
that in speaking also I can get at least a three,
yeah, speaking you
depending
can
on the
get three.
topics.
You can even
Yeah.
get four. Not a problem. You just have to practice and you have to use the format properly. So you
Hmm.
have to be a little concise and practice with the template, and you know exactly how much you have to speak. Because if you go a little beyond the time, then it becomes a problem.
Yeah, no, if I'll just practice for like a few
Yeah.
days before the TOEFL exam, I'll have it. I
Yeah.
can do
So a
it.
little bit of regular practice and you are good.
Yeah, because I already have my universities planned out, and
Okay.
I'm not really going for the Ivy
Hmm.
Leagues and all of that.
Hmm.
The top universities, I'm not going for those.
Okay. So you are aiming basically for US?
Yeah,
Okay. So which universities
actually,
are you looking for?
currently I'm trying to get into undergraduate because
Hmm.
as I am planning for masters as well, so that
Hmm.
actually holds more weightage than undergraduates.
Yeah. Once you get into undergrad, then it's easier
Yeah,
to get into masters.
yeah. So I'll be focusing more
Hmm.
on studies in undergraduate studies rather
Hmm.
than doing it on SAT. For now, I'm just focusing on CBSE more so that I can get a
Yeah.
good score here and then go there
Okay.
and then maintain a good GPA there.
So what major are you planning to get into?
I think, ma'am, it's a little confusing, but it's
Hmm.
like mechanical engineering with robotics and then nanotech or
Okay.
yeah, and AI.
Hmm.
I was first actually planning for aerospace, but then I contacted a few people there,
Hmm.
and they actually told me that it's not actually possible for me to get jobs there
Yeah, because they won't
if I
give
don't have
jobs
citizenship.
to, yeah,
Yeah.
if you are not a citizen and a native, you don't get into aerospace.
Yeah, it's because the aerospace is like
Unless,
comes under defense.
unless you get into research and through that route you get in.
Yeah, so that's why that's problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm currently
But,
planning on going to one of the Texas universities,
hmm. So Texas universities as in,
as in UTA,
hmm.
UTD.
Hmm.
Also planning for Michigan.
Michigan is good. You can look for the others this side also. Quite a few good universities.
Where now?
Hmm.
I was actually recommended Drake University as well,
Okay.
and then Rensselaer University.
Hmm.
I attended one of those UT international fairs.
Yeah.
They recommended me Drake and Rensselaer.
Yeah, Drake is good. Rensselaer is also good. Once you do your undergrad, you can move into one of the other universities, the higher ranking ones
Yeah, yeah.
for
That's
postgrad.
that's basically my plan.
Because it's easier to get into postgrad through the research
Yeah.
route.
Yeah, the thing is that the higher universities actually cost more as well, so that's why it's
Yeah, they
just planning
do
for
cost a little more.
yeah,
But then if you get through the research route, you can get scholarships also.
yeah. But then those are
And
also competitive, and then I'm an international student, so it's
no, they are like once you get into your undergrad, you will be able to contact the students, our students over there.
yeah.
Some of them have got into, like I know one person who was in Virginia Tech, he got into UIUC for
Mm,
postgrad. And
okay.
we have quite a few in UIUC in the undergrad also.
Mm.
So you can. So
I
through the,
haven't really decided about postgrad.
and
Yeah.
hopefully the funding will get a little better. Presently, it's a little dicey, but
Yeah, the
hopefully
government
research
shut down right now.
funding, hopefully in the next 4 years, research funding will get better.
Mm.
So that's a good way of getting in. Good evening, Swasti.
Good evening, ma'am.
Swasti, were you able to do any practice?
Ma'am, I tried some from that PPT only, but that's all.
Okay, so how did it go?
It went pretty well. I think I was able to plan enough in like 15 seconds and then
Okay,
speak 45 seconds.
good. That's great. So you have to keep practicing, and that's the only way you can perfect your responses. Okay, okay, we can begin. I don't think we should be waiting for the others now. Okay, so now your task number 1 in speaking was independent speaking, where you had a question and you had to respond to that, right? Now we move on to the integrated speaking task. Now, as I told you earlier also, it is very important to remember what each speaking task is, right? So if you are already prepared, you know what task is coming up. Now, they will always be in the same order: task 1, task 2, task 3, task 4. There is no change in the format. So once you are sure that okay, task number 2 is this, task number 3 is this, task number 4 is this, you can extend that 30 seconds or 20 seconds you get to prepare for the integrated task, and you can scrape in a few extra seconds from the part where they give you the instructions, right? So we will move on to the integrated speaking task as such. Good evening, Keshav.
Good evening, ma'am.
Yeah, where were you last time? You were there,
Ma'am,
didn't wait,
There
or
was an emergency last time. I informed the teachers.
okay.
Means the contact which I am receiving by 77 or like
Hmm.
that I have informed them.
Okay, so that's okay. Okay, so now speaking of the integrated speaking task, you have basically 3 integrated speaking tasks. So task 2, task 3, and task 4. Task 2 and 3 will be, you will get a reading material, you will listen to a track, and you will answer. So if you look at task 2, it is mostly a campus situation where a small, say it could be an announcement or something of that sort, and there'll be a conversation. Yeah. And in task 3, there'll be a small passage you will read related to a particular topic, and you will listen to a lecture on the same topic. And you have to combine the information and respond. So both task 2 and 3, you get 30 seconds to prepare and 60 seconds to speak. So the reading material also, they will give you time, about 45 seconds they give you. If it is long, then 50 seconds. And the conversation or lecture is about 50 to 60 seconds, right? And your response time is 60 seconds for the integrated task. All integrated tasks, your response time is 60 seconds. What was your response time for the independent task? 45 seconds, right? So here you get 30 seconds to prepare, 60 seconds to respond. Task 4, there is nothing to read. you will only listen to a lecture, which is a long lecture, about a minute or minute and a half. May not, it doesn't usually go into 2 minutes, but at least 1.5 minutes. Here you get 20 seconds to prepare, not 30, and 60 seconds to respond, right? Okay. Now, coming to the scoring criteria for these tasks, it is more or less same as the independent task. Only difference here would be that they are looking at the whether you have been able to take the content or the important information from both the passage and the lecture or the conversation. So they will look at whether you have fulfilled the task's general description, whether it is complete, it is intelligible, coherent, and sustained, etc. Then you have the delivery. So there are always the 4 parameters: general description, delivery, whether you are speaking fluidly, clearly or not, you are not rushing through or you are not getting stuck. Pronunciation, natural pacing, these are the 2 things they will be looking at. Language use is important, your grammar and vocabulary. Yeah. Topic development, where they see whether you have fully answered the question. So you should be able to understand what the question is wants you to do, and you have used all the points to answer the question. Yeah, so this is what it is about. So if what they would be looking for, like you have used the entire time, all 60 seconds you have used. It's not that you either speak for just about 50 seconds and finish up, or you speak more than 60 seconds but still don't complete your answer. Again, here remember, you will be recorded only for 60 seconds. Anything you speak beyond 60 seconds won't be recorded. Yeah. Okay. So this is what it is. So they are not looking for absolutely perfect answers. Minor mistakes here and there, errors could be there. Maybe you missed out on a minor detail, but your major details are there. So as we saw in the independent task, your response should be complete, intelligible, coherent, clear and fluid, focus on good pronunciation, natural pacing, free of errors, effective use of grammar and vocabulary, right? And of course, well developed. So when you are responding to an integrated task, first thing, your response should be according to the question. So what the question is asking, you shouldn't be going above that or less than that. So exactly what the question is asking should be covered. Answer clearly, of course, correct syntax, accurate vocabulary, and there should be clear expression. So it shouldn't look that you are a little confused, you haven't taken your notes properly, maybe. Yeah, so taking notes here is very important. And most important, answer in complete sentences. 60 seconds is enough of time to answer, like you to create your answer. And remember, as you speak, you think about your sentences. Yeah. But again, we'll be using a template which will help you to give an organized answer. And timing is also important. So here is the scoring rubric that we had seen last time also, just to remind you what they are looking for a score of 4. Yeah. So the main points here would be, there would be minor lapses. It should be highly intelligible and exhibit sustained coherent discourse. Yeah. And when we are talking about delivery, minor lapses, there's minor difficulties with pronunciation or intonation. Pace may vary, but overall it should be like medium pace, not rushing through or not too slow. Intelligibility remains high. Good control of basic and complex grammar, not just fair, but good. And it contains generally effective word choice. Some minor errors here and there which are not too noticeable are forgiven. And what is important here is convey the relevant information. This is what they are looking for. Do you have your notes properly so you can include relevant information and appropriate details in your response. Yeah. So remember, your response is based on what is given to you. So the details from the passage and the track should be there. Yeah. Okay. So now, as I said, your task number 2 will be a campus situation, which according to TOEFL, they say it is given a topic, fit and explain. That is the main idea of the task. So we will begin with task 2 and then we will go on to task 3 and 4. So integrated speaking task 2 is a campus situation where you will get a small passage, which is a campus related issue. Something like there could be an announcement related to, say, sports. It could be an announcement related to a course that is coming up, or maybe rules and regulations in the campus. It could be related to anything that can happen on campus. Then you listen to a conversation between two students where one of them is a main speaker and so there will be two students. One is the main speaker and the second one would be a supporting speaker, right? So you have to take in the opinion and the points raised by the main speaker, right? So your question usually asks you to summarize the speaker's opinion within the context of the reading passage. So you have to combine the information from the reading passage with the points raised by. So when we are talking about the conversation, the student or the main speaker would be responding to whatever announcement or flyer, whatever has been given in the passage. Yeah. Now the passages and the conversations usually have a specific format, which we will come to. So the topics, if we say, are related, for example, mostly something related to education, courses, rules, regulations, say the announcement of the next new parking regulations, a letter to discuss dormitory radio regulations, or a proposal for building a new football stadium in the school newspaper, right? Something like this will be short. Usually it begins with a topic about what it is, so whatever the announcement is, and it will be followed by two reasons for that. So maybe the university is taking a particular decision. So what the decision is and two reasons for the decision. That's what the reading passage will be about. Any reading passage for task 2 will have this format, right? And when you come to the student would be either agreeing or disagreeing to the decision or the announcement and discussing the two reasons, right? So when they ask you in the question, usually the question will be summarize the speaker's opinion regarding the announcement made by the university. So you have to pick up the points raised by the student and create your answer. So basically you have to just summarize everything. Yeah, so this I already told you. They are presents a plan and gives two reasons to support. So here, as I told you, time is 30 seconds to plan, 60 seconds to respond, right? So now in your 30 seconds, what all can you do? Now remember, while you were reading, you took down notes. While you are listening, you take down notes. And taking down your notes is very important because the reading passage will disappear after those 45 or 50 seconds they give you to read. And the conversation between the students will play only once. You can have no access to the conversation after it is done, right? So you have to depend on your notes and your memory. So we have already done the strategy of taking down notes when we did the listening section. So I already told you this. The audio clip will play only once. You take down detailed notes on both the passages and audio clips, right? Now, when you are taking down the notes, what do you take down? All that is important, right? Now, as I told you, what is it about? Any passage you get, there will be what the passage is about or what the announcement is about and 2 reasons. So you know you have a format for taking down notes also. Now, while taking down the notes, while reading, you have to take down notes. Because once the time for reading gets over, they will ask you to, the track will be played. So immediately you have to shift to the conversation. Yeah. So it won't be that you read and then after reading you start writing. So, and you don't have to take down your notes in full sentences, just keywords, right? Keywords, short form of words, whatever it is. So you focus on the keywords, sum up the main ideas of the reading and listening passages. So once you have the keywords, you can formulate your sentences around it. So as this is a reminder that you always use symbols or short forms, something that just you can understand, doesn't matter if anybody else can understand or not understand. That doesn't make a difference. And when you are responding, speak clearly at a natural pace. Now, when you are speaking, there's nobody listening to you or looking at you. So you can look at your notes and speak, but make sure your voice is loud enough and not muffled. So if your mic is a little higher at your face level, if you're looking at your notes, it should be, your voice should reach the mic clearly, right? Always be loud enough. Okay, so coming to our strategy. Now your task will always be regarding summarizing the speaker's opinion. So what is the speaker's opinion? And you summarize the reading passage and the conversation. So you take notes, summarize information from the reading. Then you look at the reasons to support or oppose delivered from the dialogue. That is what the student says. Yeah. And this is important. When you are now, if you get 60 seconds to respond, right, you have to break it up into parts. Your main focus should be discussing the speaker's opinion and the reasons the speaker is giving. So you have to give just about a short introduction, 15 seconds, 15 to maximum 20 seconds, not even 20, actually just 15 seconds. About 15 seconds maximum, 10 to 15 seconds for the introduction, that is related to the text. Yeah, rest of the time will be, so rest of the 45 seconds are devoted to the conversation, right? So your main focus is not the reading passage, but the conversation. From the reading passage, you just introduce, this is what the announcement is about, and this is the reason that the university has given. And that will be in a summary form, very concise summary. Okay, now when you are talking about what the speaker is saying or the student is saying, attitude of the speaker tells a lot. Yeah, the speaker is not pleased with the announcement, does not agree to the announcement. So speaker may agree to the announcement or disagree to the announcement or the reasons. Yeah, and so the intonations of the speaker, how the speaker speaks, maybe the supporting conversation from the second speaker helps you to understand the reactions. Yeah, so the specific attitude you have to. Now, you don't have to talk about the attitude, but the attitude helps you to answer your question. Okay, now another thing, you have to state the speaker's attitude, that is whether he agrees strongly, maybe it is a very strong opinion. So strongly agrees or strongly disagrees. Yeah, that's what can come in. And then you go on to the reason behind the speaker's opinion. And very important, in any of the integrated speaking task, you do not express your own opinion. Yeah, your own opinion or your own points are not to be used. Remember that. And I doesn't come in. The student, the speaker, the university, whatever is given to you will come in. But I think, I believe, not to be used. Okay. You just have to explain the opinion of the speaker, and you can paraphrase it, put it in your own words, but don't bring yourself into it. Yeah, this is very important. Because after the independent speaking task, you have a tendency of using I. So here you don't use I. Okay, so just to begin with an example of what the task looks like, this is a short passage, right? If you can see, you can just read the, we'll just read this passage. So this is about music coming to cafeterias. So this is about maybe the university has announced that it will play classical music in the cafeterias. So the topic will be announced before you see the passage. So Mary Dixon, director of the Student Life Committee, announced yesterday that beginning next semester, university cafeterias will broadcast classical music during mealtimes. Music will foster a more relaxed atmosphere, said Dixon. Students' lives are hectic, and mealtimes provide important opportunities to take a break and catch up with friends before moving on to the next class or assignment. Added Dixon, we are also hoping that if we provide the music, students will unplug their personal music devices, their Walkmans and MP3 players or whatever, and will spend more time talking to each other. When students have their headphones on, they are not connecting with each other. So this is a sample of we'll come up with a question and you don't have to respond right now. So what we are looking for is, what is the topic here? So this is the topic, that university cafeterias will broadcast classical music during meal times. So now in your notes, what can you write? Cafeteria, yeah, classical music, meal time. These are the keywords. So just that the cafeteria, they will play classical music in the cafeteria is not enough. Meal times is very important. When, right? And then if you look at the reason 1. So reason 1 says it will foster a relaxed atmosphere. So this is reason 1. Students' life are hectic and meal times provide important opportunities to take a break, catch up with friends, right? So reason one, if you have to take your notes, so you can say relaxed, right? And break. Those are the keywords that we are coming up with. And maybe catch up. That's it. Even if you read this much, you know what it is about. Then coming to reason two. That was reason one. So this was reason one. And the reason two begins here. We are also hoping that if we provide the music, students will unplug personal music devices. So reason two will be unplug devices, and they also say spend more time talking to each other. So we can just write talk, right? Talk or communicate to each other. If you put in your own words, you can say communicate to each other, with each other. So that's just the keywords from the passage. Now, what are you expecting in the conversation? What do you expect?
There will be one student maybe start disagreeing or agreeing.
Yeah, so student may say agree to the agreement, to the announcement or the decision taken by the university, or like, yeah, it is a good idea, or it may be that the student says, no, this is not a good idea, and will be responding to these two reasons, right? So now moving on to the conversation. So everyone ready to listen to the conversation? Just try to take your notes. We will work on the response later. Let me know if you can hear the conversation. Yeah.
Now listen to two students discussing the university's plan.
Did you read this article? Are they serious?
Yeah, I think so. Why?
Well, first of all, a lot of kids aren't looking for a relaxing break at lunchtime. They like to study while they eat, especially if they have exams coming up or some assignment they have to get done.
Yeah, that's true.
And now they won't be able to concentrate. This is going to be very distracting.
Okay. Yeah, I see your point.
And second, most students don't like classical music.
It's certainly not what I listen to.
So are people going to stop listening to their own music?
No.
I think people are going to be even more likely to bring their MP3 player, to play their own music and block out the classical stuff.
Yeah, that makes sense.
The man expresses his opinion of the university's plan. State his opinion and explain the reasons he gives for holding that opinion.
Okay. So that was the conversation. It was clearly, the opinion was stated clearly, and response to the two reasons that the university gave for playing music were countered. Right? So it's easy to take notes from here, this.
Yes, ma'am.
So let's
Now-
get the notes. So that's why I said that when you are planning, even before the question comes up, or even before the passage comes up, you can be ready with the notes taking format. So this will be your notes taking format for all task 2 questions, right? So while they are giving you the directions that now you will listen, now this task 2 is coming up, you will listen to you will read a passage, listen to a conversation, and then you will reply, you will respond in your own words. So this is what you are ready with. So you have 3 columns. The last column related to student Y is not always important. What is important is points from the passage and the student's response, right?
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes, Jay?
Ma'am, the audio recording you just showed us, how long was it?
That was, I think it was less than a minute,
Okay.
right?
Hmm.
And so the time for the reading and the listening to the audio are separate from the time you get to plan, right?
Okay.
So once the question is given to you. Now the question will be in the audio and it will come up on the screen also. So the question will be in front of you when you are responding. Okay. So it's not that you will miss out on the question, but you have to get your notes properly. So this is the format you you can take this down. So every task 2, you know you need your points, topic from the passage, point 1 reason, point 2 reason, right? Now from the student's response, you are ready with agree or disagree. All you do is you tick mark. So students, in this case, student disagrees. Then point 1 of the student will correspond to point 1 from the passage. Point 2 from the student will correspond to point 2 from the passage. Yeah. And after you have taken your notes and everything is over, the question comes up, you can refer to your points or your notes and respond. Okay. So clear so far? Now, if you take your notes in a haphazard, why I'm giving you this notes taking format? Because this is very useful. If you happen to take your notes in a haphazard manner, it will be very difficult to get all your points when you are responding. So if you have your notes organized, your response will be more organized than if you had haphazard notes. Okay, so now with the notes in place, we can look at the template. So remember, they are looking for a structured response, and TOEFL likes structured responses because these structures are in fact provided by TOEFL in their guidelines. So first thing you have to do is explain the campus situation. Yeah, so that is what comes from the passage. So you have to briefly summarize. So you have to be very concise about the summary from the passage. It must be short. So you can begin with, according to the passage, announcement or flyer, whatever it is, the university plans to do what, right? So in this case, university plans to play classical music in the cafeteria during mealtime, right? Or you can say the school intends to, if it was a different topic, the school intends to do what? Or the passage or the announcement explains that the university is considering. Now, what we go is something that is concise and easy to remember. So the first one will be concise, easy to remember. Next, what you have to do? Now, when you are talking about this, we can put in the 2 reasons. Yeah. According to the university, the students would, what were the 2 points? Swasti, can you give me the 2 points that the university gave?
The relaxing atmosphere for students to catch up with their peers, and
they won't bring their own devices.
Yeah.
Yeah. Instead, they would be talking to each other. So that's it. Now, if you think that the reasons given are too long, then you can avoid including the reasons in the introduction. And you can instead use the reasons when, talk about the reasons when you are discussing the student's reaction to the reason, right? So next what you do is you have to state whether the student agrees or disagrees with the change. So the students agrees or disagree with the school's decision or proposal for 2 or 3 main reasons. So it could be 2 reasons related to what has been said, or the student can also add another reason, right? Whatever it is, you have the exact number of reasons. Or it could be the student supports or opposes, you can say. Yeah, either if it is supporting or opposing the changes announced. And this is a good way However, if the student is not supporting, then you can clearly use, however, the student does not support this plan. Right? So you have used a transition and stated clearly what the student thinks. So if the student is not in agreement with the whatever the announcement is, you can use, however, the student does not support this plan. Yeah, and for 2 reasons. Okay, then you go on to the main points. You elaborate on what the student has to say. Like first, firstly, the student believes or thinks that, right? Either believes or thinks that, or the first point the student makes is that. So the first point the student makes it is that now when you're talking about the student, you can be clear about who the student is. So it is the man or the woman, right? So you can clearly say the man believes that or thinks that. One reason is that students usually like to study for exams or assignments during mealtime, and playing music will make it difficult for them to concentrate. He says that it will be distracting. Yeah, done with your first point. So you can say according to the student. So you make your point and then elaborate according to the student. Okay, another thing, when you are responding, always respond in the present tense. Right? This is a rule. It is an unsaid rule, but it is a rule. Always respond in the present tense. Don't say the student said that, but the student says that. The university announces that. Right? The entire response should be in the present tense. Okay. Then you move on to explain your second point, right? Which is in response to the second point made by the university, or second point of the announcement. So you can say, secondly, the student believes that. Now, if you have used believes that in the first point, you can move on to thinks that. Don't use the same expression in both the points. So you need to have some variation. So you can think about a set of expressions, and first point you can fix that. Okay, first point I will use student believes. Second point I will use student thinks. Yeah, he thinks. Now if you know that it's a man, you can say he thinks that. Instead of student, you can use he thinks that or he believes that. Right? So you can say the the second point the student makes is, or the second reason is that, or another reason is that. Any of these you can use. Or you can even say the student also remarks if there's a third point coming up. Yeah. Or you can say addition. So any of these you can use depending on what you are most comfortable with. So you can choose any one format and stick to it when you are practicing. Right? So you can write a template for yourself, look at your template and practice, and that will stay in your mind. So when you are responding in the exam, you know, this is the template that I'm using. So in that 30 seconds, what do? Yes, Swasti?
Can we talk about the readers, like intonation in the beginning, how their first lines were for you speakers? The man was like extremely confused and he asked like, are they serious? Can we include that part or?
No, you don't have to go into the, first of all, don't use direct speech, right? Or when you say, so that is where the intonations come in. When he says that, are you serious about it? Yeah, are you serious that so you can say that he was surprised about the announcement, right? If you want to add something, you can say he was surprised about the announcement. He thinks that, or he believes that, and then you continue with his. So he was surprised about the announcement and does not agree to the decision of the university. So you can add it to the opinion. That will make a good answer. So you can use any of these. All you have to do is fix a particular template for yourself, right? And if the student has made a third point, then you can say, and finally, the student feels that. So believes, feels, thinks, three expressions to be used in 3 points, right? So if you begin with believes in the first point, go on to thinks or feels. If there are 3 points, then 3 expressions. If they're just 2 points, then 2 expressions. So if you have a third point, the student makes it that, oh, finally, the last point. Okay, and always use the pronoun he or she according to whether the speaker is male or female, right? So you avoid using the student in every sentence, because here you are also talking about the reason. In the reason, you would be using students don't do this, or the students don't want to listen to classical music, right? And you can also add the he says he is of the opinion that the students don't like to listen to classical music, just as he doesn't. Yeah, because he says that I don't like classical music either. So you can add that. So he or she is good to use when you are continuing with your sentences. Don't use the student for every sentence. Okay. And again, to remind you, you do not give your own examples or reasons. Stick to the reasons given by the student and in the passage. Yeah. So only talk about what the speaker and passage have said. So so that is where the last part of the scoring rubric was. All important information should be included, so you don't miss out on anything. So if you look for a general template for a campus announcement, it could be something like this. According to the announcement article or letter, this is because 2 reasons, first reason and the second reason. This is from the passage. Then you move on to the conversation. There are 2 reasons why the man or the woman supports or opposes this change, right? Or now suppose the student is in agreement with one of the reasons and disagrees on the other reason. Suppose the student says that he says that in the first reason, maybe he was talking about students using the time to study. Yeah. And in the second reason, suppose he had said that, yeah, I do like classical music sometimes, but mostly I wouldn't listen to classical music in the cafeteria. Right? So you can say that the woman or the man has mixed opinion for this change. So one of the points he agrees to, the second point one of the points he doesn't agree to, second point he agrees to. So overall, you can say there's a mixed opinion, right? But if there is a clear support or clear opposition, then you keep to supports or opposes. Then you go on to the first reason. First of all, he argues that. And then you go on to he believes that. Second reason, moreover, he mentions that. Or you can just begin with however. Now, if it is clear opposing, then you can begin with however the man opposes this change for 2 reasons. Got this? So this is more or less a general template for all your task 2 responses. Okay. Now you will find these templates, I will share the PPT anyway, and you will also find these templates in the PDF that I have shared. Okay, now certain things you have to remember, that stick to simple, easy to remember words. Now they have said that your vocabulary is important, but they don't expect you to go into a very high level dictionary type of language, right? Keep it simple so that it is easier for you to formulate your sentences. Keep it natural. Now, though you would be using a template and practicing with it, don't make it seem that you have memorized the template, right? So keep it natural, and do not add a conclusion. Right? Conclusion is not required. Introduction is important. And this is important. Focus on the most important information first. Now, if there are points which are important, bring them in first and then move on to the lesser important points. And you have to focus on, now in any of these, you don't focus, your entire focus is not on the passage, your focus is more on the conversation, right? So we will move on to how the passage will come up and the conversation. So we will try responding to the question that we just came up with. So your introduction will be something else. So the directions are coming up. They will even read, the directions either will be just there on the screen, or they will also read it out to you. So now you have an integrated task where you will be dealing with a campus situation. You will now read a short passage and listen to a conversation on the same topic. You will then be asked a question about them. After you hear the question, give yourself 30 seconds to prepare your response. Then record yourself speaking for 60 seconds. Now this most likely is always read out to you. They say it. So while this is coming up, what are you doing?
Preparing
the format for notes so that you are ready with your table, right? So once you are ready with your table, it becomes easier to take your notes, right? So now your first thing that comes up is
City University plans to begin playing music over loudspeakers in the campus cafeterias. You will have 50 seconds to read an article from the campus newspaper about the plan. Begin reading now.
Okay, so this gives us an introduction, what it is about. So we have City University plans to play music, and this is an article in the newspaper.
City.
Now your passage comes up. If you haven't taken your notes, you can read the passage, take your notes. So you can take your notes in the format that we discussed. Jay, Keshav?
Yes.
Okay, you do take your, please follow and do exactly what we are discussing. Take your notes from the passage. Done? Jay Keshav, it would be good to have your videos on so we can interact better. Yeah, thank you, Keshav. Okay, so you got your notes from your?
Turn it on.
Yes, Jay, any problem?
Currently, I'm unable to turn on the video. I'll turn it on
Okay.
in about 5 minutes.
Okay, fine, no problem.
Yeah.
Okay, so you got your points from the passage?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, moving on to the conversation. I will play the conversation again, the same that we listened to earlier. Now you take your notes in your format.
Now listen to two students discussing the university's plan.
Did you read this article? Are they serious?
Yeah, I think so. Why?
Well, first of all, a lot of kids aren't looking for a relaxing break at lunchtime. They like to study while they eat, especially if they have exams coming up or some assignment they have to get done.
Yeah, that's true.
And now they won't be able to concentrate. This is going to be very distracting.
Okay. Yeah, I see your point.
And second, most students don't like classical music.
It's certainly not what I listen to.
So are people going to stop listening to their own music?
No.
I think people are going to be even more likely to bring their MP3 player, to play their own music and block out the classical stuff.
Yeah, that makes sense.
The man expresses his opinion of the university's plan. State his opinion and explain the reasons he gives for holding that opinion.
Okay, so I hope you have your notes from this.
Now,
So this is your question that will come on the screen. The timing will also be displayed. And now they will tell you, now you can prepare, you get 30 seconds. Right? So I give you 30 seconds to prepare. Okay, that's 30 seconds. Yeah, that's all the time you get to plan your answer. And as the 30 seconds get over, your second announcement comes. Now begin your response after the beep. Yeah, so they will tell you, now you will get 60 seconds to respond. Begin your response after the beep. So in these 30 seconds, you should be mentally prepared. Right? So what will you prepare yourself with?
Ma'am, can I speak for this?
Yes, you can. Welcome. Okay, I'll time you just a moment. Let me get to the timing. Right. Okay, you can begin now.
A student is discussing with his classmate about the announcement made in the university about the call as the cafeteria will have classic music. He is dissatisfied as the students like to study in the break time instead of relaxing. Instead of relaxing, it will also disturb the students who like to study in the break time, and also the students will be more connected to each other by the conversation and with the MP3 in the lunch break. That's all.
That's all. Okay.
Yep.
So, Keshav, do you think your points were clear?
Yep, ma'am.
Yeah. I think you were a little bit
Yes.
confused.
No.
Okay. Now, one thing, let me be very clear. So when TOEFL is giving you a question, they are expecting you to answer it in a certain way, right? So you remember the template that we discussed? First thing is telling them, so just telling what the announcement is about, right? You don't begin with the student, you begin with the announcement, right? The City University has announced has given an article stating that the university that they plan to play classical music in the cafeteria during lunchtime, right? Or during mealtime. So that's what you should begin with. And you can just give reasons so that the students can relax and say listen to the music and or unplug their devices. Yeah, these two reasons were there. So that is how you begin. So from your response, it should be clear what the university has announced. And then you go on to the opinion of the student. So here it clearly says the man expresses his opinion on the university's plan. You have to give his opinion and explain reasons. So, Keshav, did you write your notes properly?
No, ma'am.
No? Look like. Yeah? So make sure you write your notes properly. If you write your notes properly, you can just look at your notes and formulate your answer. Right? Your structure is important and important information from the passage and the conversation.
Excuse me,
Yes, Jay.
ma'am, is it like necessary to write your notes in this format?
It's not necessary,
Yeah.
but this is useful.
Yeah, because I write my notes in a kind, I don't really use a format, but I write it in a way which I understand. So is that
Yeah, it's okay. No, why I prefer this type of notes is that if you look at the notes format, the point one from the passage corresponds to the point one from the student's response, right? So if you have written the details from here, you can just write the student's response over here. Right? It is easier to remember, you have to correlate the points from the passage and the conversation. So this makes it a little easier when you are responding, because remember, you don't have everything in front of you. You are not writing your entire response and then reading it out. You are structuring your sentences as you go. Yeah. So this is just that it makes it. You can write it in say a flowchart format also, as long as it doesn't disturb your response.
Okay.
Yeah, this is just a little easier to respond when you have it in this format.
Okay.
Right? It's not necessary. This is just like a hack that I have come up with in the years that I have been teaching. So I find that this is when the students have their notes in this format, it becomes a little easier.
Yeah, and I'm also to write notes. Are we going to have a paper there?
Yeah, you'll get a paper.
So the paper will be provided by them, or do we
No. Everything, paper, pen, pencil will be provided by them.
Okay.
You are not allowed to take anything inside the center.
Yeah. Okay.
Even if you are carrying your mobile or anything, any bag, they will ask you to put it into a locker outside, or give it to somebody who is accompanying you, and then go in.
So we have to take our laptops, right?
No.
No?
No.
So they take the exam on different
They will give you a system. They will give you either a PC or a laptop.
Okay.
And you take your exam on that.
Okay.
So they will provide you with everything.
Okay.
There will also be an invigilator who, if you get stuck somewhere, your system is not working, your voice is not getting recorded, they will take care of it.
Okay.
Suppose you suddenly go offline, your system is disconnected, they will take care of it. Right?
Okay.
So when you're taking the TOEFL, don't go with the home TOEFL option. Never do that. You always go to the center.
Yeah.
Because if you take the home TOEFL option, many students have had difficulties.
Yeah, I researched about that online. Yeah.
Yeah. So always preferable to go to the center.
Also, ma'am, when do you actually recommend giving the TOEFL? Because till what date will this class go on? Till, ma'am?
This will be till mid-November.
Because we have a timetable till 12th November, so.
Yeah, we have a timetable till 12th November because they haven't released the rest of it. So I think 14th November you can take that. Till 14th November we'll be finishing off.
Okay.
Yeah. And then after that you will be practicing, sending me your responses. We will still be in touch.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah. And you can talk to me anytime after the
Okay.
classes get over also.
And
Okay,
the TOEFL
so
scores stay valid till 2 years, right?
2 years.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
So when you are applying next autumn, your
Yeah.
TOEFL scores will be valid.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay. So, okay, getting back to Keshav, you have to take your notes properly. Yeah. Otherwise, your answer will not be clear and well organized. Okay. And always follow the template. So now I will have the template in front of you. So you get an idea, you can change the sentences. And yeah. So you can begin with however the student disagrees or opposes the change. Okay, Jay, do you want to respond to this?
What, ma'am?
Do you want to respond to the question that we had?
Which one? The opinion one?
Yeah, the one that we just did. I want you to try responding.
1 second. Let me.
You want the question?
No, I was pulling up my notes.
Okay, you pull up your notes. You know you have to summarize. So I just have this template in front of you to help you with your response.
Could you, ma'am, show me the question once again?
Okay. Yeah. So there's your question.
Okay.
So you want the question on the screen or do you want the template on the screen?
No, I just need to read it once and.
Okay. So I'll keep the question here and you can respond. Okay, so you may begin. Yes, go on.
Yeah, so the opinion that the man expressed was that he said that the students usually don't actually use the break time to communicate with other students. They usually use it to actually study alongside listening to music or eating food, especially during their exam times. And the reasons he gives for the for actually opposing the university's plans is because he thinks that it will actually promote the bringing the Walkman MP and MP3s to school more often than actually not bringing them, as it will prove counter effective.
Okay. So Jay, did you miss out on anything?
I think I did, yeah.
Okay, I'll take you to the template now. First thing you have to do is summarize the announcement or the article, whatever is given. So whatever the campus, so here it was the city university. Yeah. So you have to first thing summarize the passage, right? So you go with according to the announcement, the city university wants to play classical music in the cafeteria because it wants the students to relax and catch up with friends and unplug their own devices. So the 2 points and the topic from the passage should come first. Okay? Clear now? And then you go on to the opinion of the student. First point, second point. So first point is in response to the first point is about studying for exams. And what do the students say regarding studying for exams, Swasti?
The students would rather utilize their breaks to study for any assignments rather than catching up with friends or looking for some sort of relaxation.
Anything else? Have you written anything else?
No, Mom.
So was it just rather than relaxation? Now there was something very important. The students will not be able to concentrate and the music will be rather distracting. That was a very important information, right? So remember, sometimes we miss out on the key information that is coming up, right? So this was very important. Okay, Swasti, let's hear your response. So we heard Keshav and Jay, and let's hear you.
Okay, Mom. Shall I start?
Yeah.
Okay. According to the news article, the university plans to play classical music at meal times. The student seems to be strongly disagreeing with this move by the university. The first reason that the student opposes this is that uh, students are not looking for relaxation during breaks and would rather study for upcoming assignments or examinations. They would want a conducive environment to uh, concentrate for their studying, and the classical music would only serve to distract them, which is why the man opposes the decision by the university. The second reason that the man puts up is that many students are not fond of classical music, and this would make them more likely to use their personal devices, as they would not prefer listening to classical music since it's not the usual kind of music they listen to. And this is why
that's it.
Yeah.
So, okay. So your points were there, right?
Yes.
Now what you, one thing that you could have done better was making it concise.
Okay.
Because you were not able to finish within the 60 seconds.
All right.
So, okay. So now Jay and Keshav, now you know the format and how you have to respond to this,
Yes, ma'am.
right?
Can I retry?
Okay, you can try again.
The university has announced to install classic music devices next semester as as to provide relaxations to the student, as they are not utilizing their break properly. Instead, they study and chat with each other. The students are the student who is discussing the article with his classmate disagrees on this point. The classmate says that the classical music will disturb the students who are learning and preparing for their exams, and will and force students to bring MP3 to the colleges to stop the classical mu- music.
Okay, that's it.
Yep, ma'am.
Okay, so you were better than last time, but still there are lots of lapses in your response, but yeah, with practice, you will be able to get better. So what you have to do is, okay, another thing, everyone, the key points from the announcement, the university wanted to play classical music during mealtime in the cafeteria, right? Now, Keshav, you said the university wants to install music devices. Was it music devices?
Classical.
It wasn't about installing music devices, right? And Swasti, you said the university wants to play classical music during mealtime. You missed out on the cafeteria.
Okay, mom.
Right? So every single keyword should be there in your response. Yeah. So we will get used to it. Okay, now we will move on to something that, okay, now as always, you will, when you do a task, you will record yourself. Yeah. After recording yourself, you will analyze your response. Play it to yourself, analyze. So first thing what do you see? Whether you spoke for 60 seconds or not. So it should be a minimum of 57 seconds, not more than 60 seconds. Your introduction should be 15 seconds or less, not more than that. Right? And now if you have 7 seconds or more left, then you introduce or you include a conclusion. Otherwise, don't. Now, while you are responding, what is important? Keep an eye on the clock, right? Because the clock is ticking, it will give you how many seconds are left, yeah, or how many seconds you have used. So, keeping a time keeping track of time is important. Now, this is also again important. Using transition words or phrases, right? However, moreover, those type. Because remember, your responses will be evaluated by a human rater and an AI rater. Now, what does AI pick up? You know very well. AI picks up keywords, transitions, and some grammatical errors, right? And overall topic development, your pace, everything, all those are evaluated by the human rater. So transition words, now the AI will immediately pick out 2 transition words, grammar, vocabulary, points, whether they are clear or not, pacing of your response. So whether you spoke at a smooth or even pace. So this is what AI will pick up, even pace. Yes, no. So you should have a conversational tone, not a robot voice. This is very important. You are speaking, you may be recording yourself into a system, you may be speaking to a mic, but your response should be like you are speaking to somebody. So when you are speaking to somebody, how do you talk? Right? It won't be like, and okay, now as you practice, that will come. The smooth pacing will come as you practice. So the more you practice, it will be better. Otherwise, it will be like, okay, you keep thinking about what should I say next. And that shows in your tone, right? That shouldn't be there. So it should be like you are speaking to another person. Or maybe when you are practicing, you can ask somebody to sit in front of you and talk to that person while you are recording yourself. So that will give you practice of a natural tone. And essential information from the reading passage and the listening should be there. So if you miss out on essential information, you will be losing out on topic development, right? Okay, so we can move on to another task. Yeah, now you know how to go about it and what to do. So, Keshav and Jay, ready for another task?
Yes, ma'am.
Right? Okay, so now what I will do is, since this is all in print, I will read it out. So you get the feel that, okay, this is how it comes in the exam. And while I read it out, what are you going to do? Get
Take
ready with the notes taking format. So whether you are going to take it in say a column format or flowchart format, you know what things are coming up. So topic, reason 1, reason 2. First passage, topic, reason 1, reason 2. Other side or below, conversation, student, male or female, opinion, agree, disagree. You can just write A or D, right? And point 1, point 2. So, you know, the response to point 1, response to point 2, right? So you get ready with that while I give you the directions. So it says, you will now read a short passage and listen to a conversation on the same topic. You will then be asked a question about them. After you hear the question, give yourself 30 seconds to prepare your response. Then record yourself speaking for 60 seconds. You will have a reading passage on a university has announced a new scholarship opportunity on its website. You will have 40 seconds to read the announcement. Begin reading now. So here's your passage. Okay, got this? So you get about 45 seconds to read this passage. So you've got the main points from here. Now you don't know what the conversation is going to be, but from here you should be able to get the main points. So announcement, opportunity for Romance Languages Department. Yeah. Bernacock Scholarship. Now, in your response, if you get the name of the scholarship, good. If you don't get the name of the scholarship, fine. You can just say a scholarship. So, study tuition free for 2 semesters in Rome. So, they have to submit essay and detailed plan. And this is very important. Other students from other departments are not eligible. Right? This much you should have in your notes. Okay, moving on to the conversation, right? So you are ready? Where did Jay disappear?
Now listen to 2 students discussing the announcement.
I think it's totally unfair that the BO8-26 scholarship is only being offered to students in the Romance Languages department. Like, it's an amazing opportunity, and it's so sad to see it monopolized in this way.
Is it really such a bad thing to limit the scholarship to one department, though? I mean, the fewer students compete for the prize, the easier it'll be for students like us to win it. After all, there are only 7 other students in the whole Romance Languages department besides us.
That doesn't change the fact that it's wrong for the scholarship to be limited to our single department. It's a matter of principle. First of all, there are students in other departments, like history and classics and Renaissance studies, all of whom would definitely benefit from a year in Italy. Why shouldn't they get a chance to submit their work to the committee?
But if they also submitted their essays, it would be harder for us to get the prize.
Look, just because something benefits me personally doesn't make me think that it's right. I mean, I have a lot of friends in history and classics and Renaissance studies, and I totally agree with them that it's wrong for them to be ineligible to compete for the scholarship. After all, Romance languages is a very small department, and it seems abusive for us to keep this resource all to ourselves.
I guess I see where you're coming from.
Also, I think that it takes something away from the honor of winning the scholarship if the competition isn't very strong. I'd rather know that I earned the opportunity to study in Rome by competing against the very best students, instead of thinking that I was only honored because other talented people were unnecessarily excluded from the process.
Okay, so did you people get the notes?
Yes, ma'am.
You got your points? Now there are a lot of points. Now if you see in this one, the supporting student also has a few points, but do we have to take do we have to include that in the conversation in our response? No. Our focus is on the main speaker. So here the main speaker is a woman, right? Okay, now coming to the question. The female student expresses her opinion about why she disagrees with the university's new policy. State her opinion and explain the reasons she gives for holding that opinion. Right? So that's your question. So as always, what do you begin with? So you get 30 seconds to prepare. Try to figure out the main points. So here there were a lot of things coming in. Pick out your main points. So from the question, you know what the focus should be on. So from the passage, what do you need?
Announcement.
Yeah, what are the points which are important to your response? The entire passage?
No.
Not really, right? So it's just that this is an announcement made regarding this scholarship and that the students from other departments, so this is regarding which department that you have to say. So what department was it?
Rome.
Rome. Department I'm talking about.
Romance. 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 It was like romance language.
Care about it?
Yes, sir. It was like romance.
It was about Romance Languages Department, right? Okay, so now you get your points together. Got them together? Thought of a template? How to begin? So always remember, begin with the passage, move on to the conversation. Now you know the student disagrees, so you can have a transition word. However, you can use however. Okay, so are you ready to respond? Swasti, you want to try first?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, go on. You may begin.
Okay. According to the announcement, the university plans to offer a scholarship to study in Rome, only limited to students of the Romance language department. However, the woman does not agree for mainly two reasons. Firstly, she believes that although it is easier for Romance language students to get in, it is abusive to limit these resources to only a particular department that happens to be of a very small size in their university. The second reason that she makes is that she believes that having a smaller competition pool steals the honor from gaining that scholarship, as it is unfair that other talented people were unnecessarily excluded from the competition. All in all, these are the reasons why the woman disagrees with this move of the university.
Okay, good. So you did have your points. You picked up the main points. You don't go into every single detail. And you managed to finish your uh, response. Only maybe the conclusion was not required
Okay.
because that took you about 2 to 3 seconds over the time. Yeah. So don't focus on any. So if you can see your timing, then if you have more than 5 seconds left, go for a conclusion. Otherwise, not required. More or less, your structure was good. You had your points. You could have included a little bit about the in principle, it is wrong,
Okay.
right? You included the abusive part. You could have included the names of the other departments.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah, but otherwise, your main points were there. So, not a problem if you missed out on those, right? Okay, so Keshav, do you want to respond to this?
Ma'am, she already spoke all the points which I have.
Yeah, but I want to hear from you.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, you may begin now.
The university in Rome has announced the new scholarship program for Romance language department only. The lady is dissatisfied with this announcement due to two reasons. The first being that the top competitors of the university are being dropped out of department like history, arts, and architect. The second being the only reason is that they are only getting their department is only getting the chance which has very few students and cutting off the and exploiting the scheme.
Okay, that's it.
Yeah, ma'am.
Okay. So now what did you say? The university is planning,
No,
university in Rome is planning to
no, ma'am, not in
uh,
planning. I said the university in Rome announced.
so is it university in Rome?
No,
No. The university has announced a scholarship for only the Romance languages department. And if you want to include, you can say this is a 2 semester tuition free study in Rome. Yeah, that was the reference to Rome.
okay.
Not the university isn't in Rome, right? The study program is in Rome. Okay, now when you moved on to the 2 points, you missed out on a few things. Okay, now what have you written in your notes? Keshav, can you just read out what you have written in your notes?
Ma'am, I've written this.
You don't have to give me in sentences, just the words you have written.
Exploitation.
Hmm.
Very few students in the Romance language department.
Okay.
Um, this means exploitation, history, arts, architect departments just left behind.
Hmm.
Uh,
Anything else?
owners means it's like owner of competitors has been dropped.
Hmm. So did you include that point in your response?
Not the last one I've included.
Yeah, so that was important. So two things were important here, that the student thinks it is wrong to limit the scholarship only to the few students of the Romance Languages department. Yeah. And it should benefit other students also. And the competition should be between, okay. Now you said that it leaves out top competitors. Did the students anyway say anything about top competitors? Did you write anything regarding top competitors?
Yes, ma'am, top competitors also. I have spoken in the first reason.
No. Did the students say about top competitors?
I think so, ma'am.
The student talked about competition, but not about top competitors, right? So including extra
I think so. It was
information.
like it was said that the best students has been dropped down.
Yeah, so the best students have been dropped out. So it's not really top competitors, but good students from other departments who would have competed have been excluded. That's what you can say, right? And yeah, this point about takes away the honor of earning the scholarship. That was important. Right? So that is what you have written in your notes, but you have missed out in your answer. Okay. So now you know exactly how to, you are getting better at that. Compared to your first response, this is way better. And so now you have to be able to plan in 30 seconds, right? So it's not that I need some more time. You will not be able to, they will not give you more than 30 seconds to plan. So keep in mind the template while you are responding. Okay. So now we can move on to another question. Okay. So this is, okay, the conversation question, maybe you can do this on your own. Do you want to do more? What's the time? We have, okay, just about 15 minutes. So we will do some of these so you get thorough with dealing with these. Okay, so here your directions I will read out. You will now read a short passage and listen to a conversation. So do you have to even focus on what has been said in the beginning part? All you have to focus on is the last part, right? Sorry. So read the following text from a college course manual and listen to the conversation that follows it. So you know it is about a college course manual. Yeah, that is important to take in. You will have 45 seconds to read the announcement. Begin reading now. So I give you maybe about 50 seconds to read and take your notes. Okay, that was about 50 seconds for reading. Did you get your points or still reading?
I got them.
You got them. Okay, what happened to Keshav? Also. Okay, so what were your main points from the passage?
just written group work, and
Hmm.
then students hate it sort of. Uh, some students don't contribute, gain marks not deserved. Uh,
And then you have the stronger students frustrated.
yes, yeah, frustrated.
Yeah.
And then
Then marks
responsibilities are unclear.
yeah.
And then since there is skills such as self-organization and communication skills learned, they will introduce a new system where uh, the work is not marked, but the piece of work assigned to each student, and then participation in each student is ensured.
Ensure.
Yeah.
Right. So if you look at the passage, it has a lot of points. It has two groups of points. So first group of point is that students don't contribute equally, right? And allotting marks becomes difficult. Secondly, it will teach group work, teaches them self-organization and communication skills, and they wants to introduce a system whereby group work itself is not formally assessed, but each student will undertake an individual piece of work, right? So this part was important. Okay, now coming to the conversation.
Thank goodness the department has made changes to the way they assess group work. I had a nightmare last term with our geology project. I couldn't bear going through that again.
Why? What happened?
Well, there were 3 of us in the group. One guy worked really hard, but he didn't trust anyone else to do anything. He just wanted to do it all himself.
It sounds like you were freeloading.
Well, I wasn't. I offered up plenty of ideas, but he kept saying they were no good. In the end, I stopped trying and left it to him. The other guy was a waste of space. He didn't pull his weight at all. We barely saw him.
Did you get a good grade?
A reasonable one, considering how little work I did. But I'm sure I'd have done better if I'd been given the chance to say what I wanted.
Well, the new system should give you that opportunity.
Yeah, I hope so. Though I wish they'd abolish group work altogether. All this organization and communication is just a waste of time. It's got nothing to do with geology.
Okay. So you've got your points from the conversation?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay, on to the question. So in this, you see there is a sort of mixed reaction. Yeah. He agrees to the group work being, the format being changed and the problem. He agrees to the problem. And then he goes on to say the self-organization and communication skills are not helpful and it should be abolished. So think of your template in that way, right? So you can use contrast however so the first point will be in support and the second point will be in opposing it. So the man expresses his opinion of group work, state and explain his opinion, compare his opinion with the opinion of the geology faculty. So in this question, since the geology departments, from the passage we see there was a lot of points, but when we are dealing with the response of the student, those points get repeated, right? So we need not bring in the details of all the points in your first, so when you are introducing the passage, you don't need to go into details of all the points. You just go into the announcement and then you go into what the student says and you refer to what the geology department said. Okay, you can prepare Okay, that's your 30 seconds. Are you prepared?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah? Okay, great. Okay, you can start speaking.
Okay, according to the announcement, the geology department plans to introduce a new system in which students will not be marked on their group work but on individual paths based on the group work to ensure participation of all students. The student, the man agrees, has a mixed opinion to this announcement as they recount a bad experience that happened to them where they were forced to freeload and believe that they could have done better if they had the task as an individual work. The second reason that they put up against the group work is that they believe organization and communication is a waste of time and unrelevant to geology, which is why that practice should be abolished. However, the university believes that these are important skills for students to gain, and that's why they have introduced this new system.
Okay. So that was about 5 seconds above time. Okay, now one major flaw in your response. What was it? Did you realize something while you were saying?
I think I said the second reason why.
Apart from that, you use they.
Oh, right.
Right? Here
Yeah.
we are talking, though there is a second person speaking and that person raises some questions, but your main speaker is the man.
Mm-hmm.
So you begin with the man, goes on to he.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So according to him, yeah, I think there were a lot of points, so there was a little bit of mix up here and there. Now, your important information was he was in a group of 3. Now, when you're talking about the project, what was the main thing that he disliked? Was preloading the main thing?
The refusal of the other persons to take his ideas.
Yeah, so he was not able to contribute to the project, though he got his grades,
Yeah.
right? And so he said that there was one person who did all the work and did not allow him to contribute. And there was the third person who did not do any work at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was important. So in a group project, some person does everything. Everyone can't contribute equally. That was the main thing that had to come up. And the second point was okay. That though the universe, okay, so now you can put the 2 points from the university and him together. So in the second point, you can say that the university thinks that group projects teach self-organization and communication skills, but he disagrees on that, right? Saying that these are not related to geology at all. And in fact, group projects should be abolished completely.
Yes.
Right? So you don't have to go into like the university thinks it is important. So you can begin with the university thinks it is important, but he disagrees. So since we haven't mentioned all the points in the introduction, you can incorporate the points along with what the man has to say.
All right.
Yeah. So clear on how to respond to this?
Yeah.
Okay, just a second. Okay, so these are the tasks. Now, in your study material, there are a few more of the integrated tasks which you can do.
Yes, ma'am.
Right? So we have done 3 of them here, and there'll be about 2 or 3 of them more in that. And I will share some more later on. Once we are done with the course, I will share some more for practice. Right? So do you have any questions or any problems with this?
No, ma'am.
No?
Not any question.
Okay. So what are the takeaways from here now? What is your takeaway from these tasks?
Okay, so the format is similar to the one that we had for the independent task, but we have to add the different elements. Like the first paragraph will always be from the reading part, and the reasons will be from the speaker's points.
Right.
And intonation is important, understanding how the speaker feels about that certain move. We should use linking words. And you want to keep it concise.
If there is an opposition, you can begin with a contrasting transition.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes,
And always use, say if it is a man or a woman, you can use he or she accordingly. Yeah. You can begin with the student and then you can go on to he or she, and vary your sentence formation.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Okay.
He argues, moreover, and if you and usually the format of the, even in the last one, if you see, yeah, when regarding the group work, there were clear 2 points in the passage. First one was about the contribution of the students and marking, and the second one was about self-organization communication skills. So always there will be 2 points from the passage, and like in the previous one, the one about the scholarship, the focus was on excluding the other departments.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So you have to see what the focus of the conversation is. Whether the student is referring to all the points in the passage, or maybe the student, instead of the excluding or just excluding all of them, the student was also discussing about the essay to be submitted. Then you could focus on the essay plus other departments. But in the conversation, the students focuses only on excluding the students of other departments. So in that case, your response does not have to include the other points. Yeah, so you have to see what is the focus on. If the focus shifts from the first point to the second point, then you include both points. If the focus is only on one of the points, then your response also focuses on that. So your response will follow the conversation. Right? So whatever focus is on in the conversation, that will be in your response. And keep it short. Don't, so you have at least mastered keeping it concise.
Okay.
Yeah. Only thing, make sure your notes are proper. So when you are planning, what you have to do is you take your pen and you have written your notes. So you just circle or mark the important points. So you are sure that these are points that have to be included in my response. Right?
Yes, ma'am.
So if now when you are responding, another thing you have to keep in mind is how much time you, like when you are recording yourself, your timer should be on. So 15 seconds or less, 10 to 15 seconds for your introduction or regarding the passage. If there are too many points in the passage, what do? Just give the main point in the passage. That is what it is about. Yeah.
Yes.
And then like this one, it was quite lengthy. So you straight away, you just mention what the passage is about or the announcement is about, and then go on to the conversation incorporate points from the passage into the conversation. Right? So here, like, the student agrees to the geology department's decision to award, what did it say? Realization of the problem, and you give his problem. According to him, he when we worked in a group project with 3 students, he was not able to contribute because one of the students did all the work while the other didn't do any, though he got his marks. So though he got his marks, he was not satisfied, right? So his tone, you include his tone, he was not satisfied with it. And then you go on to the second point. The department feels that group work will promote self-organization and communication skills, but the man thinks otherwise. According to him, these are not at all related to the geology department or are not related to geology as such. Right? So there is a clarity. Now, when you speak and present your points, most important is your organization of the answer and clarity.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
Right? Got it?
Yeah.
So you can go into this. Okay, there is another question given here. You can do this. No, there's a sample answer here. So you can look up the PDF and the track numbers are given, and you go into the listening, the speaking section, track number so and so.
Yes,
and you will be able to do that. Okay?
Yeah.
So Friday we will move on to task 3.
All right.
Yeah, I could have begun with task 3, but the other 2 have disappeared, so we will do it next time. Okay? So you can master this one?
Sure, ma'am. Yeah, I'll start sending you tasks like.
Yeah, you can send me your responses.
Yeah.
And try to do at least one independent speaking every day or every alternate day at least. So one integrated, one independent. And so by the end of it, you can put in 15 minutes or say 20 minutes to do all of them together.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah? Okay, thank you. I think it's time. Okay then, good night.
Bye, ma'am. Thank you. Good night.
Thank you.